recall syndrome. Stubbornly resistant to the control of authority of others, difficult to deal with, work with, or supervise. The high school principal office is like a second home for some resistant student. Recapitulate, to summarize in concise form, to briefly retell the essential points of a story. In terms of biology, describes that a fetus does its repeat stage of the evolution of the species during its development. Great public speakers are known for the ability to recapitulate and gesticulate. Reciprocate, to give an act in turn following the lead of another, to give or do in return for something else, to reproduce with courtesy, gift, or example of another. It was difficult to determine how best to appreciate for all of the concept, curtain, and help received after the twins were born. Reclamation, the conversion of unusable land into land suitable for farming or other uses, the extraction of useful substance from refuse, the claiming back to something once taken and given away. The reclamation of the inner city was deemed miraculous by whose lived there. Recluse, withdrawn from the rest of the world, solitary and hermit-like, shut off from the influence of the world and others. After her husband died, Mrs. Hilton lived in a reclusive life, rarely coming out of her house or speaking to anyone. Recompense, to pay someone for work or service, to give compensation for suffering, loss, or injury. To compensate Mrs. Williams for all her suffering would be impossible. To reconnoiter, to explore an area in order to get information, especially for the position and strength of enemy, to engage in reconnaissance, from French means to explore. The overly zealous coach, who was prone to military metaphors, said he would reconnoiter rather than scout the opposition team. Recoup, to regain something lost, to make up for something lost, to make up for something that had been lost. Habitual gamblers think they will recoup their losses if they just continue their risky behaviors. Reclamation, an acquisition made by someone who has been accused of a crime, usually against the original accuser. Reclamation is often a very effective form of retaliation. The press was shocked when a recrimination of one of his aides involved the president of Watergate cover-up. Репетитор по скайпу, Smart Teacher 197.